While the relationship between Japan and South Korea is said to be the worst after the war, the concept of the Japan-Korea Undersea Tunnel has emerged. This is an infrastructure plan that connects Kyushu in Japan and Busan in South Korea with an undersea tunnel to run railroads. President Lee Myung Bak has ordered an economic and technical feasibility study into the prospect of creating the links, which would stretch hundreds of miles. Want to know about it? Well, stay tuned to the video and watch the video till the end. Hello guys, welcome to Futureality. Hit the subscribe button and turn on the notifications to get new updates about technology and development. Hit the like button to show your support, and in today's video we're going to discuss Japan's proposal for a tunnel to Korea. So without any further ado, let's begin. The topic of the Japan-Korea Undersea Tunnel, which often emerges and disappears, has appeared in the Korean media again. The trigger was a statement by Kim Chong-in, the chairman of the Emergency Response Committee, who's at the top of South Korea's largest opposition, People Power Party. The idea for the tunnel dates back to the era of Japan's military government. Tokyo devised a plan to build an undersea tunnel to secure an attack-free route through which it hoped to transport military supplies to the Asian continent without coming undersea attack, including from US submarines in 1940. The inclusion of the tunnel in the report sent to the leaders of the two countries while denying this reality from the past is ill-advised. Rumors are widespread that Japan and a religious group have lobbied for the construction of an undersea tunnel. Even if a tunnel brings economic benefits to both countries, the move to pursue such a facility would be preceded by a public debate among the people and consensus building. The Japan-Korea Undersea Tunnel has been discussed intermittently for decades but became a serious consideration in 2008 when 10 Japanese lawmakers set up a committee to pursue the project. Toshiyasu Noda, a professor in the Department of Law at Seinan Gakuin University, said a tunnel that connects to Japan's southern island of Kyushu could bring annual operating profits for logistics to about $2 billion. Toll revenue alone could draw about $3.7 billion in annual revenue, Noda said, using comparative numbers from the Channel Tunnel that links France and Britain. This is a magnificent project with a total distance of more than 200 kilometers mentioned by Mr. Kim Jin-jin in the mayor's elections in Seoul and Busan on April 4th. Candidates from the same party defeated the ruling party. Mr. Kim, who was the head of the party, has retired, but will the Japan-Korea tunnel concept move forward? It marks the culmination of discussion and speculation dating back almost 100 years. The tunnel from Korea to Kyushu would stretch 80 miles under the sea and connect the island nation of Japan directly to mainland Asia, transforming trade routes, commerce, and tourism. The project, which would cost an estimated £51.2 billion, aims to improve a transport network between the nations. The second route would link Weihai in Shandong province to South Korea's Pyeongtaek port in the form of a vast underwater tunnel stretching 230 miles. Ho Moon-doi, the head of a joint tunnel committee, said the union would create a strong alliance between the countries. A very early discussion on such a tunnel was conducted in 1917 by the Imperial Japanese Army. Another early proposal for the project originated in the late 1930s and was depicted as part of the Greater East Asia Railroad. The proposal for a fixed link between the two countries has been raised in public discussions numerous times since the end of the Second World War. By early 2002, the South Korean government had commissioned 3 research institutes to study the project feasibility. Around that time, an easing of relations between South and North Korea gave impetus to the tunnel project. The South and North Korean government had agreed on an inter-Korean rail line to run from Seoul to Pyongyang and then on to Sinuiju, a border city in the north on the Yalu River. In the same year, a 5-member Japanese delegation headed by Daizu Nozawa toured the Gyuji region in South Gyeongsang province for an initial site inspection. This visit marked a starting point on the contemplated tunnel on the South Korean side. According to the Chosun Ilbo, Mr. Kim stated at a party meeting held in Busan City on February 1st that he would actively support the new Gyeongju Airport, showcase the concept of the new Busan Vision Project, and invited the expo in 2030. Reborn Busan into the world's highest-level logistics city, open sea and air routes to complement the new city port function and grow Busan into an international logistics city in both name and reality. He also said he will also actively consider the Japan-Korea Undersea Tunnel that connects Busan, Gyeongju, and Kyushu, Japan. According to research, it's expected to have a huge economic effect of 54.5 trillion won, about 5.1 trillion yen, in additional production and 450,000 employment-inducing effects with a much smaller financial burden than in Japan. Annually, more than 32 million tons of cargo would pass through the tunnel, the study shows. Construction cost for the tunnel is estimated to be more than $90 billion, with about $36 billion coming from a joint investment fund between Seoul and Tokyo, and the rest to be borrowed. hypothetically at 1% interest that would be repaid to lenders between 35 and 50 years. Japan's Prime Minister Yasuo Fukuda made improving ties with Seoul a foreign policy priority when he took office last September, while South Korea's president-elect Lee Myung Bak is expected to take a more pragmatic approach towards his country's former colonial master than his predecessor, Roh Moo-hyun. Bilateral ties reached their lowest point for decades under the premiership of Junichiro Koizumi, who left office in 2006. His insistence on visiting Yasukuni, a nationalist shrine in Tokyo that honors Japan's war dead, prompted accusations in Korea that Japan had yet to atone for its wartime conduct, including its 1910 to 1945 colonization of the Korean peninsula. Despite the recent detente, the countries have yet to settle long-running disputes over the sovereignty of the Takeshima Islands, known as the Dokdo Islands in South Korea, and Japan's whitewashing of wartime atrocities in history textbooks. Lee, however, has indicated that his stance will not be determined by lingering resentment over historical differences. The Japanese press report did not cover any impacts North Korea's economic reform would have on the potential project. In South Korea, analysts have been discussing future developments in the north should Pyongyang continue to cooperate with Seoul. New tourist routes, railroads, and airports could open soon, Park Hyung-sun, a professor at Iowa Women's University, said at a seminar in the National Assembly building, News One reported Friday. As exchanges between Korea and China have enormous significance, we need to organize a council for exchanges and cooperation between the local governments of the western part of Korea and the local governments of the coastal area of China, such as Shandong and Tianjin. The plan to build the Undersea Tunnel needs to be reviewed not only by the Gyeonggi provincial government but also by the central government of Korea, Gyeonggi Province Governor Kim Moon-soo said. The course of the would-be tunnel has not been decided yet, but a starting point in Japan could be the city of Karatsu, Saga Prefecture, on the Sea of Japan. If it were ever built, it would be the longest tunnel in the world, 209 kilometers, and would cost a staggering $3,350 billion. Speaking on 24 September, before the General Assembly of the United Nations, Prime Minister Hatoyama said that the recent change in power in Japan would help his nation be a bridge to the world. Though the idea was first mooted about a decade ago, the election of Lee, a member of the conservative Grand National Party, has given it a new lease of life. There's definitely a sense of euphoria among some Japanese politicians about Lee's election. The source said it's going to be like night and day compared with Roh presidency. But the tunnel supporters will have to overcome several other obstacles before building work begins. Japan is likely to insist on Korean concessions over the Takeshima Islands, which are claimed by Tokyo but currently occupied by the South Korean Coast Guard, the source said. The South Koreans would feel threatened if they thought they were being drawn too close to Japan, and the same would go for many Japanese. Both sides would have to overcome a big emotional barrier. The committee prepared the report through discussions held since February last year in line with an agreement between the leaders of the two nations. If the leaders of the two countries are to make a joint declaration of the new Korea-Japan era, the report must be revised, improved, and supplemented before undergoing procedures to secure public consensus. Now that we've come to the end of this video, I want to thank you for sticking with me, and I'd love to know what you think of it. Just comment down below. Also, if you like this video, make sure you like it and stay safe. Today's video is over, but if you want to see more, there's one on your screen right now. And there are a few more fun videos coming soon. I'll see you in the next video.